Well, for graduates, too much debt can be a grave financial hindrance. For households, businesses, and increasingly for municipalities, it can be a real crusher, as yesterday's landmark Detroit bankruptcy court decision makes clear. Today, taxpayers, pensioners, bondholders, municipal finance experts all across the country have been trying to figure out just what the Detroit decision might mean to them. Here to help us tonight is J.P. Aubrey, Assistant Director of State and Local Research at the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College. J.P., welcome. Now, if this decision is upheld, by how much might a typical Detroit pensioner receiving, say, $20,000 a year see their benefit cut? And how much do municipal workers in municipalities outside of Detroit need to worry about changes to their pensions?
Well, it's unclear how much cuts they will get to their pension benefits. It hasn't been decided yet. But what is clear is that cases such as Detroit have very little implications for the nation on the whole. Detroit is a special case. Pensions were part of the issue, but it has been a shrinking city with an industry that's been declining, as well as a revenue base that's been declining for some time. And so it's hard to see how cities around the nation could draw much from the situation in Detroit, being that it's so unique.
But you know, this whole question of pensions has been brought to the fore because of Detroit. But let's say I'm someone working in a city that doesn't have any problems. The question those people are wondering, how safe is my pension? Can we answer that definitively?
Not definitively, but in most cases, pensions are very well protected. I mean, you can look at the example of Detroit. They had to go through bankruptcy proceedings in order to touch these things. And so the burden of proof is on the city to make a case that they are eligible for bankruptcy, and that's a high threshold. And so for the most part, pension benefits are safe across the nation. In most states and localities, pension benefits are protected for current employees and their future accruals, and for retirees.
You know, but I'm looking at research that your own group put out saying that 126 public plans were only 73% funded using the most optimistic pension return formula, 50% using a more conservative 5% return figure. So what percentage of public pensions are underfunded? And there are the numbers that indicate that they're underfunded not by just a little, but in some cases by a lot.
Right. This is correct. Those numbers are exactly right. Currently, in 2012, based on our sample of 126 state and local pension plans that we maintain at the center, the funding ratio was about 73%. A lot of that unfunded liability isn't due to current workers. Pension funding really wasn't in vogue until about the 70s or 80s. So a lot of these unfunded liabilities are legacy costs from a past time, and plans have been working steadily to fill that gap.
So are the costs real or not? Are the costs real or not? Are those numbers really speak to anything, or are you telling me that they don't really matter?
No, those numbers are real, but what you need to understand is that plans have been working steadily to fill that gap. So that was a unfunded liability from a past time, and they've been working steadily to increase their funding over the period in order to fill that gap. And so we're just not to the point where this funding of that gap has been completed yet.
JP, let me just ask you this. I mean, this raises the whole question that a lot of people used to take a job as a teacher in a public school or join the police force because they know even though their salary might be low, they were going to get good benefits and good pensions. It seems like that whole formula is changing. So what does this mean for cities, municipalities in terms of attracting top talent? Is this going to become a problem?
You raise a great point. At the center about a year ago, we did a study comparing public and private compensation, total compensation, that is their salaries plus their pensions and other fringe benefits like retiree health care. And we found that public and private sector employees basically get the same total compensation once you control for their age, their education, their time in the workforce. And so if you just cut an employee's pension benefits without giving them an increase in their salary in any way, you're basically offering them less in total compensation. Now, if I'm a young employee choosing where to go in the workforce, public or private, and I have a certain set of skills, and I can get more money in the private sector for those skills, where do you think I'm going to go?
Yeah, JP, thank you very much. We appreciate your help tonight. It's a complicated, thorny question. JP Aubrey is Assistant Director of State and Local Research at the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College.